The people that watched DoorDash, they were desperate. They wanted answers, solutions. She made them believe. But now it's at the point where it is stale. Why? Because every time she come on camera, she go like this.
I was not doing good. I was in a marriage that wasn't working out for me. It wasn't that it was any infidelity. It was just on both parts. It was like dead. We were roommates. We were best friends before we got married, but then we realized we should have probably stayed best friends, you know? And so, which is disheartening, but it was just not a good situation, and I just felt like I needed more, you know, and so that ended, and then we decided to go our separate ways.
Pause. Do you hear the dishonesty and manipulation already? She said we realized we should have stayed best friends. Then a few seconds later, she said I needed something more. And she followed this up by saying we decided to go our separate ways. You see that? In other words, she filed for divorce over money woes. So this DoorDash woman, she will finesse you, the people, over money if she needs to. Because if she divorced her husband over money woes, then she certainly finesse you out of your money. Okay, she switched up her words because even she knew that this is a bad look. Welcome to Facing Gates. Rate, comment, and subscribe to keep these videos populated within the YouTube algorithm. Thank you for supporting Hard Truths. Let's get back to it. So, this woman DoorDash, after speaking about the divorce from her husband, she did a little gaslighting to make it seem as though she had to wipe away some tears. Then it was right back to business as usual. Now, many of you, I'm sure, are aware that DoorDash has recently drawn some heat for finessing her followers out of their money. And among her critics is RingoTV, aka Weirdo TV, the perverted poet, aka the asshole of YouTube. Okay. Months ago, I started another one of my trademark series, The Devil Plays Both Sides, and this is the latest edition because the devil is playing them both. RingoTV and DoorDash, they're both wicked. Okay, they're both of the devil. And the common trick of the enemy is to send one of his false prophets to rebuke another one of his false prophets. You see that? But continue.
Even telling this story, I had to kind of take a minute and come back because it was sad. It was sad. Anytime you're breaking away from something that you've been attached to or codependent of, it's just hard. It's not always easy, but it was necessary because you know how Beyonce is no longer Destiny's Child because she had to break free, right, in order to be the Beyonce she is today. And I know you probably don't like her, but that's not it. Stay focused.
No, you stay focused. See, this is the problem. Beyonce done released all types of evil spirits onto the last few generations of women. She's released that Jezebel spirit. And this has deterred our women from fulfilling what God created them to do, to be keepers of the house. All right, but continue.
Just so bad, you know? And I just said to myself, I want more. I want more. Like, I'm not okay with where I am in life, you know? And this business is draining me. And so I just started doing DoorDash. And then I started this YouTube channel like a year after doing DoorDash. And I was like bad, down bad. Like things were just financially just bad. But I just heard God, keep going, keep producing.
No, God will tell you to return back to your husband. See, this is why a woman needs her husband to direct her path. Otherwise, she will continue to listen to the voice of the serpent the remainder of her days. The serpent produced seed into the woman. This is why she has an impurity every month, and also why she is considered the weaker vessel. Job 9:24 says the earth is given into the hands of the wicked. Okay, this is why Satan is the god of this world. So in these last and evil days, Satan, he strategically used men to construct corporate America, which is like the command center of the matrix as we know it. Because he knows when the grid collapses, women will be the most vulnerable. Matthew chapter 24, verse 19 says, "Woe to those who are pregnant and nursing babies." Why does it say that? Okay, this is talking about the child support. There's a curse that is attached to child support because Esau concocted the idea of child support so that he can weaken the so called black man. Okay, so it was created for evil purposes. They say they want the best interest of the child. Okay, but do they really fulfill the best interest of the child with their Planned Parenthood clinics? You see that? So you got to ask yourself why in Matthew 24:19, why don't God just come to the rescue of this woman who is pregnant and nursing children? Okay, I've talked about in my other videos generational curses. I've talked about also the 5 major curses, but I won't get into that in this video. You got to go check my other videos out or just hit me up in the comments and I'll give you more information. But continue.
And I wasn't consistent with this channel. I was very inconsistent. I would post 1 month and then go missing 2 months. I would post one day and then go missing for like 6 months. And then I had people say, hey, I miss you. Because on this channel, I didn't show up with makeup on. I didn't show up as my best self.
Your best self is without the makeup because that's how the Most High made you. In another one of my series titled Satanic Employment, one of my trademark series, I describe how people earn a living by serving the devil. I call it MWDO, making money with devil obligations. Because anytime a woman needs to put on makeup to earn a living, she is possessed by a seducing spirit. Why do I say that? Because in a grid down situation, 99.9% of the jobs that you see it as it is today, that women work on this side of the matrix, they will be obsolete. Okay, they will be gone, vanished, just like that. Okay, so what direction will Satan lead most women to when Babylon is dismantled to fragments of what it used to be? Well, when the food trucks stop hitting your local Walmart, your local McDonald's and Chick-fil-A's and the Taco Bells, women like DoorDash will do anything to fill her belly. This may include, but not limited to, setting up thirsty ninjas, setting them up by luring them in with the promise of nasty intimacy in exchange for food, or some advanced idea of what she's currently doing, finessing anyone out of what they currently have, or just flat out stealing from people. Okay, because what she's doing now is stealing in the eyes of God. But right now, while the grid is up and there is some degree of peace and safety, this demon has yet to manifest in women like DoorDash the way that it will in the end times when martial law hits and comes at your front door, when they establish the checkpoints and eminent domain becomes the law of the land. Because right now, while the grid is up, there are so many ways for women like DoorDash or people in general like DoorDash to finesse the masses out of their money. So there is no need to take extreme measures like it will be when the grid shuts down. Because remember, the scriptures say the love of many will wax cold. Isaiah chapter 5 verse 20 says, "Woe to those who call good evil and evil good." Okay, in this matrix as we know it, they call blue collar work evil. Some of the most hardworking jobs is frowned upon. And those who work in the CEO as the CEO, and those who work behind the desk and have the desk jobs where they don't have to do as much work, that's called good in this wicked society. This is why I believe whenever Wall Street crash or there's some type of economic collapse, a lot of these guys who's making millions of dollars are taking their own life. Okay, and I'll get to that. Proverbs chapter 22:16 says, "He who oppresses the poor to increase his riches, and he who gives to the rich will surely come to poverty." Now, is this talking about poverty like in third world countries? No, it's talking about the eternal lake of fire, which is the pinnacle of ultimate poverty beyond the human imagination. Okay, but why is this? Because in Genesis chapter 3, verse 19, God said to Adam, "In the sweat of your face you shall eat bread till you return to the ground. For out of it you were taken. For dust you are, and to dust you shall return." Now, this applies to women if they decide to forsake the role that God created them to fulfill. Okay, and most women have done this. And Satan knew that the woman cannot bear this burden, and eventually she gonna have to spread her legs to earn a living. This is why the serpent said to Eve, "You will be like God." But God said, "If you eat of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, you will surely die." Okay. OnlyFans, Instagram models, and women like this DoorDash chick, they're eating from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, which again is the matrix as we know it. And putting into context, women being a part of the workforce. Okay, now there are some women out there, let me make this clear that they do honest work. I'm not putting you in this bubble, okay, so that I'm clear, putting things into context. But Ephesians 4:28 says, "Let him," okay, when it says him, it's also referring to her. Okay, this is a common theme throughout the scriptures. It says, "Let him who stole steal no longer, but rather let him labor, working with his hands what is good, that he might have something to give him who has need." Okay, so we've heard this often that if a man don't work, he shouldn't eat. Well, this is why those guys who make a lot of money on Wall Street and when the economy collapse, they're taking their own life because it's a curse that comes upon them for not working with their own hands. You see the devil obligations? So a spirit comes upon them when things get real tough and they've never been faced with adversity because they've always been under the security of the matrix as we know it. Again, Satan deceived the woman into doing the perverted, the unnatural, because he knows God did not create the woman to work with her hands. So she got to do what? That's right. She got to fulfill them devil obligations through satanic employment. All right? But continue.
I started posting skits. And then I started thinking about the different angles that skits can be in because I watched a lot of movies growing up. And I watched a lot of commercials growing up. And so I was like, you know what? Let me think about these angles because movies do this. So let me do it like a movie would do it. Like when somebody comes up behind the person, they look and then the person's there. Like you can edit that way.
This woman is just talking. She won't be doing any editing that requires any additional time that she's already committing to doing. Okay? Eventually, her following will catch up, but then again, it would not surprise me if they never do, because God has given them over to a spirit of stupor. Okay? And these are the sort that creep into the houses of silly women loaded with sins. Okay, now putting things into context again, I'm not picking on the women, okay, because there are men out there, a lot of men, like RingoTV, who have devil obligations. and is currently under the directive of satanic employment. All right, but the purpose of this video, again, was just to show you how the devil is playing them both. All right, and Satan will always try to make sure that he writes checks that he know your soul cannot cash in the afterlife, because the devil don't get screwed on the deals he makes with men. All right, do I become your enemy because I tell you the truth? Don't let your flesh or the devil write checks that your soul cannot cash in the afterlife. It's all about fates and gates. You gotta have faith, and you're gonna need God's grace. Thank you.